Boo. Hey guys. Oh, hi Wildland. Level up, what's up? I've honestly like never done one of these live things before. I'm like, okay, how do I do it? Who's watching? Can you hear me? Hopefully. Okay, I'm gonna give it like a couple more minutes till I really get started, but sweet, can you hear me? Just give me like a thumbs up. I know you're out there, but best outdoor cannabis up north. Yeah, thank you. So I decided to do this outside because my kitchen's a mess, honestly, and I didn't really feel like dealing with it. So I'm like, oh, we could do it outside, and it's such a nice day now that it stopped raining and it's like sunny and beautiful. So I decided to come out here. All right. Well, we got a minute or so here until we get started. How are you guys doing? How's life? Shelter in place got you down? Are you able to manage? Feeling, I know out in the country it's not much different for us. Like it's kind of normal for us, except the kids aren't in school. But other than that, you know, that's how it goes. Just kind of doing the farm thing, doing the country life, so it's all good. All right, well, I'm gonna teach you guys how to make some super simple cannabis leaf juice, since everybody has really primo leaves right now. Jamie brought me in a bag of leaves last night, and I'm like, oh, perfect, because I have a watermelon. And so I thought I would do a little tutorial today to just kind of walk you through a really simple method to get you know, a lot of good nutrients. The leaves hold a lot of good value in them. A lot of times we compost them, of course, or feed them to the chickens, but when they're really healthy and happy is the best time to make the juice, and before the buds actually start forming, because the more trichomes that form on the plant, the later it gets into flowering, the more the juice can actually be like semi-psychoactive. It's not really like you would have a high from smoking cannabis, but one time, just to tell you a funny story, I juiced some fresh buds, and even though, you know, it didn't get hot, it got me so high. I was on an event, at an event on the coast, and we had this juice, and then I'm driving back over the Boonville grade, and all of a sudden I'm like crying like rainbow drips, and I'm looking around like, oh my god, I'm really stoned. So, you know, just be cautious. And I don't think that this juice could get you super duper high, even if there was a lot of trichomes on it, but you definitely feel a little altered. And so I share this with my children, and other people's children have had this juice for sure. So I would just recommend that as you get further into flowering, don't use the leaves that have more trichomes on them and give it to the kids, because you don't want them to feel a little loopy from it. So also you want to make sure that your leaves are washed and cleaned. Obviously, we, you know, put things on our cannabis plants for you know, good health for the plants, but we want to make sure that we're not ingesting any of that stuff. So I usually wait at least like a day or two after any kind of foliar feeding or anything like that, and then I soak the leaves in water, in a big bowl of water, and kind of flush that water out a couple times before I actually use them, just to make sure they're super clean. And then I hand picked these off the stem to make sure there's no bugs or like other things on them. So I have a bowl of already cut watermelon. I have way more than enough leaves here, but usually, you know, I put like maybe 10 to 15 big fan leaves in a blender. Then I have water, and then you're just going to need some kind of sieve or filter. Some people do it without filtering out the leaf matter, but I find that if there's a little tiny piece left, you know, in the juice, like the blender didn't like pulverize it, that leaf will get stuck in your throat and you'll be walking around going forever. So I just find that it's better to filter that out. I also got this handy dandy thing that I use for everything in my house that you can just find at like an Ace Hardware or a kitchen supply store, which is for canning, I believe. So it's like a has a hole in it, as you can see. It goes on top of a mason jar like that, and then that way you can pour something maybe from like a big pot of liquid going into the jar and it won't spill everywhere. And then it also conveniently holds my my sieve really well on there. So, all right, let's get started. Who's here? Oh, hi. What's up, Todd? All right. So, just make sure that I'm plugged in here. All right, so I have the watermelon that's all chopped up. I like to leave the white stuff on there because it also has good nutrients, and some say it's kind of like Viagra for men. I don't know about that, but anyways, I think it gives a little bit of extra goodness. So I just fill in maybe like half the blender. And then, like I said, I take like 10 to 15 giant fan leaves. This has a little bit of like fresh little tops from some plants that we've been topping, some moms. So just shove them in there. I like to put the leaves up higher on the blender because if you put them down at the bottom, it'll just kind of like wrap around the blades and make a mess. Okay. All right, here it goes. It's gonna be super loud. Just like 10 or 15 seconds is all you really need for that. The watermelon's super soft. If you don't have ice in there, it won't take too long. But I like to watch for, like I was saying before, little chunks of leaf getting broken up. So I've done it until I can't see any more chunks of green leaf matter. Oh, one got stuck in the lid, so little sacrifice. All right. And I had a little too much water in this jar, so get rid of that. So I'm going to filter this out. Even though I blended up the watermelon in there with it, I'm still going to kind of filter out the chunks. And you'll need a spoon too, which I have here. This is a super tasty thing that you can do, you know, every day. I felt like I just get, you know, a lot of energy from it. There's like a lot of bioflavonoids in the leaves. You know, you get a lot of just benefits from the green leaves themselves. And it's a nice refreshing drink on a hot day too. I usually make like a couple jars full at once, but I'll tell you, it does not keep very long. So don't expect to make a big jug of it and then leave it in the fridge for a week, because it will just turn. Usually like after like even almost 24 hours, it kind of gets like a sourness to it and starts to ferment. So typically, yeah, I don't like to keep it for too long. It's more just like an instant fresh goodness. Okay. I don't want to like scrape it too much through the screen. Like I was saying, I don't want all that leaf matter in there. Just let it drip for a second, and that's it. So if you have fresh leaves and some fresh fruit of any kind, honestly, watermelon doesn't matter what you have. I've done it, you know, like with mango is really good, or other seasonal fruit is really great too. And this is something, like I said, is not psychoactive. You can just, you know, freely drink it. You're not going to get stoned from it. Some people are more sensitive if the trichomes are more advanced later in the growing season, but I don't think you should have an issue. Like your grandma can drink it, your kids can drink it. So bottoms up. I'm going to pour myself a little glass. Feel free to message me with any questions or anything. And cheers, everybody. It's tasty. All right, I'm out of here. Adios. There goes the first live video ever. Somebody said add lemon. Oh, cool. Can't add a couple of lemon drops to last longer? I don't know if you mean can. Anyways, that sounds good. I was gonna say even you could put a little lemon with a lemon rind in it. I like to do that in most of my smoothies. It kind of gives it like an extra like edge to it. So yeah, sounds good.